Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Siew Kim Bae, Chief Financial and Sustainability Officer with CapitaLand Investment Lodging and Managing Director of the Ascott Limited.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me. I'm Siew Kim. What an inspiring session we had just, 10 minutes ago. I'm still, wow, inspired. Okay, return on sustainability. So thank you, Liz, for inviting me to this conference. Just maybe one slide back. I just want to share a little bit about what I do. And I'm currently the CFO, which is the Chief Financial Sustainability Officer of CapitaLand Investment Lodging. And I'm probably one of the few finance person here. So when Liz invited me to this conference, it's like, okay, what would a finance person know about sustainability? And she find it very interesting that CFO would do a sustainability role, right? So here I am. Thanks to Liz for that diversity in this conference, a finance person doing sustainability. I'm also a Managing Director for the Ascott Limited, and I'm covering the Japan, Vietnam, Korea, Cambodia, and Myanmar operations for the Ascott Limited. So I currently have 3 portfolios, and being a finance person, I'm fully hedged in terms of my job. So I'll probably be the last person to be retrenched because I have 3 jobs and 1 pay, okay? Prior to this role, so I took up this role in August, so I'm like 5 months into this role doing finance, sustainability, and managing operations. But prior to this role, I'm actually the CEO of CapitaLand Ascott Trust, which is a listed REIT in Singapore. And bigger part of my life, I'm actually doing investment, asset management, buying, selling, hotels, and the real estate part of the world. So today, I'm going to share with you about sustainability, but from the finance angle. So I know most of the attendees here are in the travel, trade, and probably not so much the numeric people here, but I'm going to make it easy for you and let you understand why sustainability is important from the capital markets and the debt markets part of the world, which is what I spend most of my time with, okay? Return on sustainability. So I'm not talking about the operation part, but really the returns, right? So as in all accountants and finance people, I have to show you the calculator. And every time you want to spend something, you ask for CapEx, and your CFO or your finance will ask you, what is the return of your investment, right? So if you put any money in anything, they'll ask you, what's your return on investment? And the higher the percentage, the better, and the higher the returns, right? So this is a formula every finance people would know, right? Okay, then the question is, what is the return on sustainability? The new language of sustainability in the finance world. We talk about the value of green in the past, but now we're talking about the return on sustainability. There must be a return on everything we do. Business exists for profits, right? And from green premium, what's green premium? Meaning the additional cost that we pay to brown discount, meaning a discount on your product or services if you are not green. Yeah? So the question is there a return on sustainability? If you're going to put in some money, your boss will ask you, what is your return? I hope I can remove the myth that, hey, when people talk about sustainability, the first thing they think about is, hey, there's additional cost. It's a negative return. And I'm going to just take that away from you today. You'll leave thinking that it's important to invest in sustainability, but from the capital market point of view. So from the investors, how are we looking at sustainability? From the lenders, which are the people who's going to lend you money to invest, and also from the operational part, how does that how does sustainability affect your P&L, your profit and loss, okay? So from the investors, I'm in hospitality, I'm hotel, but this is probably the most unique business and ecosystem that we operate in. First, we have the investors. They are the owners of the hotels that we manage. And then you have the operators who manages the hotels for the owners. And they have a unique relationship, right? In hotel, we are different from the office or the retail because the owners are very actively managing the real estate. But for hotel, you have operators who have their own agenda with regards to managing the real estate for the owners, right? So we have a very unique relationship between the owners and the operators. And then you have your guests, you have your employees, you have your suppliers and regulators, and that's a whole ecosystem within the hospitality industry. And they all have different requirements on their returns, right? So for operator, when you manage the property for your owners, the first question when you ask them for CapEx, what will they say? What did Jerry McGrath say? Show me the money, right? They want to know whatever you put in for any investment, show me the money. What's the return? And that's important, right? But what is the business case for sustainability? Is there a business case? Whole morning I was sitting in a conference and every other presenter talked about one keyword. What's that? Sustainability. Everyone's talking about sustainability. And I believe this is not the first conference you have attended where every other agenda is about sustainability, right? Do you agree? And sustainability is not new. It has actually been around for the longest time. But post-COVID, this has been in the main agenda for most organizations. So what's the business case for sustainability? And we call it the triple bottom line, right? You have first the profit, P, and then the people, which is very important. You talk about the people, and then the planet. So the new language of business for sustainability is really about the triple bottom line. And they are all equally important. One cannot exist without the other, right? So from the investors' world, when we invest in real estate, what are they talking about? This is a survey done by Ernst & Young, and they have about a year ago. And it's a survey on the investor sentiment and their view on ESG, environment, social governance that the company embrace. And companies that fail, and this is what the investors say, companies failing to meet investors' expectation on environment, social, and governance factors are likely to risk losing their capital, losing their access to capital markets, meaning companies that doesn't embrace ESG, they can forget about investors putting money with them. Yeah, so this is new. And the key takeaways is investors are no longer just looking at financial returns, they are also looking at non-financial return, which is your ESG. Next, this is another survey that's fairly recent, also on investor sentiments, and this is done by PricewaterhouseCoopers. And what it says in this survey, if you can go about reading about it, I believe the slides will be uploaded. I've given the link. Please read it. Basically, the investors believe that ESG performance and financial returns goes hand in hand rather than conflicting. In the past, when you think about sustainability, you always think about cost and negative returns. But now investors believe that if you have sustainability, ESG factors in your organization, you are expected to do better and give better financial returns than companies that do not. So this is the investor's mindset right now. Larry Fink, which is the CEO of one of the largest fund management company, BlackRock, they manages close to about 10 trillion investment assets under management. And this is what he says. We focus on sustainability not because we are environmentalists, but we are capitalists, and they have fiduciary duties to their clients. It's therefore important for them as asset manager to invest in companies that embrace sustainability. And they see a positive returns between companies that do practice ESG or sustainability in their business versus company which does not. In the last 2 years, 4 trillion investments have moved from conventional investments to sustainable investment, and that's a lot of movement in 2 years. Yeah? So that's the investment part of the world. Look at the returns. This is 2021. Sustainable companies are performing better. So this tracked by Morningstar, which is a US sustainability index. And companies that have practices or sustainability index, they outperform the market by more than 8%. Yeah? 14 out of 21 indexes outperform the market. So it's very clear that companies that have sustainability in their practices or their sustainability index, they are doing better than companies that are not. Okay, so this is the investor part of the world. Next, we're going to talk about the lenders. So before we invest, we need to go and borrow some money, right? And the lenders are also embracing sustainability or ESG factors before they decide whether to lend the investors money to invest. And this is from the ABN AMRO, which is a bank, one of the largest banks in Europe. And this is what they say. It is our conviction that companies that perform well on ESG are generally less risky, better positioned for the long term, possibly do better prepared for uncertainty. In other words, the banks are more willing to lend companies because there's less risk in your organization if you embrace ESG. So this is a bit technical, but green debt, these are what we call green loans or lending to organizations that practices or invest in green projects, right? They are getting what we call a greenium. A greenium is a term to describe banks giving you a cheaper loan if you have ESG or you're investing in a green project. So study reviews pricing benefits for green debt issuer. So if I can borrow cheaper than someone else, wouldn't my returns be better? Yeah? So that's a green debt and a greenium. ESG is taking over the loan market. Bankers expect 50% of their lending next year in EMEA is going to be lent to company that has got ESG targets. So if your organization has set up certain targets on ESG, you're more likely to be able to borrow from the bank. I was just attending a conference last month on the green finance. And what I'm hearing from the lenders is, I don't know when, but in the near future, it's possible that banks or lenders are only willing to lend if you have ESG. So can you imagine what it would be like if you're unable to borrow for your investment? Okay, so that is the investor part of the world, the lenders part of the world, and how they are seeing ESG. Next, very quickly, performance. This is new research that was just issued last week on office buildings in Singapore. Generally, green office buildings are enjoying higher occupancy. You can see the two lines. Differential between the green buildings and not. There's a difference in occupancy of about 5 to 10%. On renter in office in Singapore, there's a differential premium of about 10 to 15% in terms of rent. And in terms of valuation, a green building versus a non-green building, the valuation is close to 25% or 35% in London and Paris. So from the investor's point of view, all this will translate to better returns. Carbon tax, this will affect the operational performance as well because the cost of energy is going to go up. Okay, buildings, technologies-wise, has actually enhanced a lot of design in buildings that can allow us to have significant savings in energy. And I won't go into details. So all these that I've shared just now will affect a valuation of a real estate because of the income, the risk premium, as well as the financing cost. Okay, I'll just leave you with these 2 slides. Green premiums, which is the additional cost that you think that you will pay for being green, are temporary. But if you have a brown discount, meaning if your organizations or whatever you're doing are not green, it's called a brown discount, it's permanent. So once a discount is given, you are forever being discounted in your business. What's the business case for ending life on Earth? This is a quote from Ray Anderson. Search out for him. He does a lot of good work in sustainability in organization. Okay, I'll wrap up. This slide talks about circularity, circular economy, how we start something, we use it, and recycle it, right? So I'll leave with this slide is return on sustainability infinite. Thank you.